What's up guys, my name is Mike Fixicardi. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. Today what we're going to do is something pretty simple, but we're going to level up my workspace. Because if you have seen my previous video where I was replacing the entire suspension on my Subaru STI, you could see that I was struggling without an extra set of hands. And I had mentioned that you really do need a vise outside. So I went to Home Depot and I picked one up. Now this was relatively inexpensive. I will link this specific one down in the description if you want to pick it up for yourself. This is going to be a great tool to have outside. Now where I'm going to install this is simply right on the side, right on the edge of my toolbox here. Don't overthink it guys, this is very simple. I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do this yourself. Obviously you need your vise. You'll need a workbench or a toolbox. I went to the local hardware store. I picked up some hardware with washers and lock washers. And I have a drill with a drill bit. Now this drill bit is just a little bit smaller than the mounting holes on this vise. And they're just slightly larger than the size of our hardware. So this combination should work out perfectly in order for us to mount this vise on this toolbox nice and sturdy. So let's get started. All right guys, so first things first, this is a Harbor Freight Yukon Toolbox. I'm going to remove this top drawer just to give me a little bit more room to work with here, and so I don't make such a big mess in this drawer. Now with this particular toolbox, there's a tab on both sides. This one will push up and the other one will push it down, and when you do that you're going to release these rails from here. Let's do that. Push this one up, the other side we're pushing down, and now we can just remove the entire top shelf of the toolbox. On this particular toolbox, I'm going to remove the top, the wood top, because I'm not so sure if there's a space in between the wood and the actual toolbox itself. So in this toolbox, there are 8 Phillips head screws holding it in place, mounted underneath, and we're going to remove those first so I can take off the top. All right, so with those out of the way, now we should be able to just pull this wood top right off. There we go. And it's a good thing I did that because I don't want to accidentally drill through the mounting holes here. So it's actually got a little threaded insert in the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I drill around that insert. All right, so I flipped the top work surface upside down so this way I can, be sure that I don't drill through these little riv nuts here. Now I'm going to put the vise on the corner edge of the workbench. I'm going to get it into a nice position here, and then I'll take a marker and I'll mark the inside. Well, you could probably do a better job, but those are my 4 mounting holes. We're going to drill in these spots here, straight through to the other side. All right, we'll get our drill. We're going to drill straight through. First I'm going to just take a punch and mark a center point so our drill bit has no problem going through exactly where we want it to. And now we'll get started drilling. Use your better drill bit, guys. I kind of did a little bit of damage here, but I don't think it's going to be a big deal because the vise is going to sit over it. I might one day put a plate here just to add some more strength, but let's see how it does. I'm going to put this on the top of the toolbox, and then we'll mark our holes as well. This way we can drill in line with the top of the toolbox. All right, so I'm going to take my punch. We'll get it through the center of the hole here. And I went ahead, I covered the rails on the inside with a rag, so this way you don't get any metal shavings on your rails there. This could have been a little bit better, guys, my mistake. If you can see this hole here, I drilled a little bit too close to that hole, but I think we'll be okay because I have some washers that I'm going to put on the underside that should be able to even out the clamping force around here. But what I wanted to miss was this hole, which we did. So you could do it a little bit better next time. But here's my mark. We're going to drill through here first. I went ahead and changed drill bits, guys. That was not working. Put a little bit of cutting oil on the drill bit. Definitely use some cutting oil. Alright guys, so after that, clean up your workspace. Be careful because on the inside here where you drilled is going to be some very sharp pieces of metal. So I went ahead and removed them, but don't cut yourself. So under here where the drill passed through, it's going to be a bit sharp. So now that we have the holes there, we're going to put our wood back on top and then we'll install the vise. I'm going to reinstall the Phillips head screws to secure this wooden top back to the toolbox. Alright guys, so now with the top back on the toolbox, let's get our vise installed. So here's our vise. All of our holes match up just right. So we got our hardware. I'll show you how we set it up here. Even though this is really probably not going to move around. I have this is called a lock washer. Once your hardware is tight, it's kind of like a spring that'll keep tension on the top of the bolt here. This is overkill. You probably don't need it. You could do with probably just a flat washer. We're going to go bolt, lock washer, flat washer. We'll go through, and then on the other side we'll put a flat washer and then the nut. Now with all our hardware in place, let's go ahead and tighten it down fully. Alright guys, so now that we got the vise installed, we're going to go ahead and reinstall our top shelf here. Very simple. We'll pull out the rails a little bit on both sides. We'll get our shelf. We'll get one side in at a time. There, it clicked back into place. Now our shelf is reinstalled and our vise is in place. Alright guys, well that's it. A simple tool is now in its place, in its home, on top of my workbench here, on top of my toolbox. This vise we could turn around. We can move it almost a full 360 turn there. We can move it exactly where we need it. And now I have another set of hands when Dad Fix-A-Cardy's not here to help me out. Alright guys, so I'm very happy with how this went. Honestly, there's a few things that I would do a little bit differently. You don't have to take the top off of this particular toolbox. I'll link this one that I have down in the description for you if you want to pick this one up yourself. But depending on the toolbox that you're going to install a vise on, you don't have to take this off. I did it mainly to see that I did not drill through the mounting holes where this wooden top screws into on top of the toolbox. So that's why I took it off. If you're going to drill through the top of your toolbox like I did, I would drill through the actual surface that you'll be working on, not the underside, because if you saw it puncture, it did a little bit of damage to the top of my toolbox by drilling in on the underside. So I would just drill through the top here. Eventually someday, if maybe this top is not very strong, which it is actually pretty solid, I may install a plate here, so just to give this a little bit more rigidity in case I'm torquing down connecting rods or different components that require a sizable amount of torque. So we'll test this out in the future. You'll have to watch my future videos when I put this thing to use. The other thing I would say, make sure you have good drill bits, sharp ones. I was having a little bit of trouble with my other drill bit, so I switched out to this one, and I recommend you use some cutting oil, especially when you're drilling through the metal portion of the top of your toolbox. That'll really extend the life of your drill bit, as well as give your drill bit that extra bit of power to get through the metal there. Guys, I definitely want to emphasize the need for the correct and sharp drill bit here. My theory here is that because I was not allowing the drill to do the work, as I was finally almost through the wood, it became very thin, and I had put my body weight into the drill, and it actually snapped the wood opened, and that's why you see that little bit of damage there on the top. Thankfully, the vise covers that, and it is nice and secure. All right, guys, it's that time. Lift up that finger and hit that thumbs up button. Remember, it's free and it really helps out the channel. And if you're feeling happy and you feel like lifting up more than one finger, drop me a comment down below. Let me know how you set up your toolbox or workbench to work better for you. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.